So, been playing some more Kerbal Space Program. I installed the what's it called? Kethane mod. It lets you collect resources from other celestial bodies, so you can fly out there with less fuel than you need to fly back, hoping that you'll find enough fuel at your destination, or enough kethane, and you mine it, and then you convert it using a heap of solar power, and turn it back into fuel so you can take off again. But to unlock those parts, you need to get lots of science, and so I was collecting some science on the moon, which is where I am now, which is where I've planted this flag. But there was a problem. I ran out of fuel, and I fell over. Because I didn't make the landing struts long enough to get past the engine. So I just sort of had to try to balance on the engine, and I was running out of fuel, and I couldn't pick a flat place to land, so I tried to land on the engine bell on a sloped surface, and it didn't go well. There's a bit missing off the front here, and that's rolled over here. I say rolled. I did discover a very crude means of traversing the lunar surface. It's a simple expedient of just putting on the reaction control wheels so you can maintain an angle, and then just spinning. And you can sort of propel yourself really efficiently, in that it doesn't use any fuel. You can put rover wheels on the bottom of things, and that would probably be much faster. But this works for a given value of works. So these three brave Kerbals, Bob, Jebediah, and Bill, are stuck on the moon for the foreseeable future. They've got a crapload of science collected. If I review the data that's stored here, this is worth 100 science. So I really want to get that back home so I can unlock the kethane parts. You can just edit the files and unlock the kethane parts by cheating, but I've got another. There's not much science in that one. So I have a plan. It's a bit of a harebrained plan, but I'm hoping it'll work. So a little while ago, I put into lunar orbit a rescue mission. And here it is. This is just the lander phase. The big booster phase is still circling somewhere. I ditched it earlier. But let me just flip it the other way up. It's got 3 nuclear engines on the bottom, which are very, very, very efficient, but very low thrust, so you need shitloads of them to go anywhere. I've got a big fuel tank, a little fuel tank for each one with a fuel feeder, so they all feed off the center tank. Some RCS. I've got a decoupler, so I can fly this back, shed all this bulk, and then just re-enter with this. Oh no, we don't want thrust. RCS tank, some docking clamps here, and then inside here there's a little probe and a battery pack and an RCS tank, lots of RCS, and then on the front I've got a grabber. So, in theory, what I hope to do is land, fly this over to the capsule that's on the ground, grab onto the nose of it, and then hover over the top of it, and then dock with this onto here, and then fly off into space, and then fly back to Kerbin, decouple, and then re-enter separately. This is a pretty harebrained scheme, and I've got no idea whether it will work. I've got a maneuver node planned that'll drop us right on top of where those other spacecraft is stranded. So let's see how that goes. Now I've got mechanical jeb on this craft, but I haven't used it in a long time, so I may end up just using it in a panic, but we'll see how that goes. So let me just get lined up on this maneuver node. And I'm going to start burning. Not a big burn. Okay, so now we should be on a terminal descent. Okay, I'm going to need to boost that up a bit. Now the most efficient way to land on the moon is to be going very, very fast at very, very low altitude across the surface, and then just burn at max power and just touch down. That requires impeccable timing and iron will. It's very difficult to do, and if you do it wrong, you slam into the ground with a whole heap of energy and things go very poorly. So I'm going to try to sort of do something like it, but not quite so extreme. The Apollo guys had to do it because the technology was so poop. They just had to, take the most optimum route. They didn't have the overhead to take things safe. Well, they did it pretty safe, but it's called a suicide burn. You just blast, you hurtle towards the surface at maximum speed and then unleash hell until you stop, and hopefully you stop moving before you hit the ground, or at the same time. And that's very difficult to do. Well, I think Mechanical Jeb can do it, but I certainly can't do it by hand. Okay, I'm just doing a little plane change maneuver here to correct the trajectory a smidgen. I couldn't adequately explain exactly why that's most efficient. I'm just regurgitating stuff that I heard in another video. But I think it's because thrusting when you're moving fast is more efficient. On account of the Oberth effect, which is super interesting, and if you have a mo, you should go look up the Oberth effect on Wikipedia. It's really counterintuitive, but if you look at it in terms of energy sum, it kind of makes sense. Just look at the energy left over in each part of the system, including the fuel exhaust, and you're like, it makes sense. So here we are, hurtling over the surface of the moon. I want to get whoop, 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 whoop. I've not got much thrust to spare. I've got a fair bit of fuel to spare because these nuclear engines are very fuel efficient. But I really don't want to slash them into the surface. I might just quick save, yeah. Let's start burning now. Yeah, see, I'm going to... see, what I'm doing is just bringing my landing point closer, which is not really what I wanted to do. I should have plotted that path to fly over them, and then accounted for the fact that I'm going to be burning. Yeah, I balls this up. I'm going to have to start thrusting skyward to avoid getting some pretty bad gravel rush. But I've got plenty of fuel to spare, so I should be okay. And I'm going to need to burn pretty much straight up from here on. I wonder if I'll be able to see them. They should be in this darker coloured patch. I suspect they'll be around about here. Yeah, actually, should be. Oops, I stopped thrusting. Should be right over the top of them now. Where is that button? Where is that? Wreckage. Turn on my RCS. So all I'm doing really is keeping my retrograde marker on my thrust vector there, and hoping I don't tip over. Uh-oh. Yeah, it wasn't a great place to touch down. Hopefully. This is terrifying. Uh-oh. Please don't break anything. Please don't break. Oh. I broke something. Okay. I think that's a quick load scenario. Okay. So. Knowing what I know now, I'm going to boost up. Adjust my flight path, so I'll fly over them, and now burn retrograde full blast. I still may overshoot them slightly, but we'll see. So they are just north of a smaller crater, northwest of a small crater that's still in the dark region. So maybe here? I'd say that's that small crater that you see on the map. So keep an eye out around here. Is that? No, that's just a big rock. Where are you? Is that it? I think that's the what remains of the main portion. Yep, that's it there. So the lander module must be around here somewhere. Well, the science module. So I am coming in with rather more speed than I would have hoped, and I don't think I'm going to be able to burn off 100 meters per second. Yeah. Alright, let's try that again. It's the main limitation of these nuclear engines, they just don't have a huge amount of thrust, so if you're trying to do last minute panicky bullshit like I'm doing, they don't really cater well. If you plan it all out well ahead of time, in advance, and get all your numbers right, then they're very, very efficient, but they're not very forgiving for stupid crap like this. So what I'm doing now is burning sooner to give myself more time to decelerate. What this does. Keep OBT, keep vert, execute, oh god, execute. I think that's kill horizontal speed. We keep surface position, possibly. I'm hoping it's in control here, doesn't appear to be actually. Well, done a pretty good job of slowing us down. I just hope we can burn off this extra 100 meters a second. We should be okay, and we're actually reasonably close. There's the engine, or the fuel tank from the failed mission. Okay, let's start throttling back. There's a decent risk if you burn too hard when landing, you'll just take off into space again. 10 meters a second, it's a nice leisurely rate of descent. When I get a bit closer, I'll kill that to 5. See the shadow there. This landing is looking much more controlled. Okay, a little bit more thrust. Drop back to 5 meters a second descent. The ground is relatively flat here. Like, this is just a fairly rudimentary computer simulation, but it really gives you an appreciation for how hard this must have been back in the 60s. Oh, don't break, don't break, don't break anything. Oh. Okay. Might be able to recover from that. That's the flag, that's the crap. Okay. So, what remains to be seen is whether this thing can actually fly. I hope it can. It has got a crap ton of RCS. Let's see. Whee! Oh, brilliant. Easy. Okay. Let's come back to that. Right, so this is what I want to rescue. And I think I need to get it over there somewhere. I can't really see it. Let's have a look at the map. That's not very useful, is it? Ah, butts, I just quick saved. Oh well, I guess this is it. Alright, let's activate ridiculous locomotion. Go. See how going uphill. Yeah, okay, this is going to take a while, so I might get back to you. Okay. After a long, silly journey, I've finally got all 3 things in close proximity with one another. So, somehow, I have to fly this evil looking thing upside down and land it on the top of that. It has to be pretty spot on the top. Otherwise, when we try to fly, everything will get all wibbly wobbly. For the same reason that asteroid could have got wibbly wobbly. If your center of gravity doesn't line up with your center of thrust, then you just tend to push yourself in circles. Now I haven't got a huge amount of fuel, so I'm going to save this and see how we go. So I should have, yeah, okay. So I'm worried that this is just going to grab a hold of the moon, which is pretty likely. But let's see. I'm going to need a bit of RCS to get upright. And let's go up, up, up. Oh lordy, this is going to be hard. Right. Oh. Alright, I'm going to have to spend some time doing this. Not as straightforward as I had thought. Okay, after considerably more faffing about than I would admit to on the internet, I've got this standing back up the right way, and I've got that docked onto there, and it's standing upright somehow, precariously balanced on the nose. Now what I want to do is lift this up, plonk it down on top of there, and then fly away. That's gonna be difficult, so I'll record a few attempts, fail hilariously, and then stop the recording, do it, and then hopefully remember to start recording as I triumphantly fly away so it looks like I actually did it. Alright, quick save. Whew. Gonna be hard. Alright. Gonna need that and that. I'm gonna get some throttle. I'm gonna need to fly. Everything's backwards. Okay, no, it's not gonna work. I'm only going to control from here. And then... oh, gods. This is going to be a challenge. I have tried lifting this with the RCS that's on it and trying to plonk it on top, but it's not got enough thrust to pick this up off the ground, unfortunately. So yeah, my original thought was to control from here and then target that, but all my markers are all crazy if I control from there. I might try that again. I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've enlisted the assistance of Mechanical Jib, and it's running in keep vert mode, which to my understanding keeps me vertical. And I've told it to kill my horizontal velocity and maintain a 0.5 meters per second rate of descent. I just told it to change to 0.2. So I let it handle the keeping me hovering business. And then I lined this up directly over the top, and now we're very slowly descending onto the target. So with any luck, we'll dock, and then I can just set the vertical rate of ascent to like 99, and it'll take us up. The docking's not perfect, but the magnets are pretty strong, it'll latch on. Dunk. Go. Oh yeah. Alright. Mechanical Jib, ladies and gentlemen. Holy crap. That was amazing. Alright, save. Okay, I'll turn that incredibly useful tool off. And let's get ourselves pointed homeward bound. Let's blow this popsicle stand, so to speak. It requires bugger all delta V, that is to say energy or fuel, to get off the moon, because it's got pretty low gravity. So while the Apollo series were able to take off, leaving most of their stuff behind because they ditched their big heavy descent engine and just took off with enough fuel to get back into orbit, rendezvous with the command module doodad, and then fly on back home. I'll boost up to... Actually, I may well be able to one-shot fly back. Actually, no. I'll circularize at 20k. Or at least I'll plop down a maneuver node and see what it'll take to get a return. Not much. What's that? Okay, I'll just keep going. I'll just get off the moon and back to home in one burn, with any luck. Hopefully these guys in here aren't getting roasted by radioactive emanations from those engines. Should be right. Actually, I might actually plan this properly. Okay, 1 minute, 6-second burn. It's going to take me... So I'll fast forward and I'll start burning 30 seconds before mark. Close enough. That was exciting. I'll admit, I did have to cheat to get this oriented back vertically again. I had to go and edit the save files and change the orientation back to vertical because I tried sort of just scooting along the surface and sort of trying to use a rock or a crater edge to nudge me back upright. I tried disabling one of the engines and sort of shooting on the ground like a rocket sled, all the while using my RCS to try to push me up off the ground. I tried that for about an hour and I gave up. That was way too difficult. So I cheated. I admit it. I'm a terrible person. But cheaters sometimes prosper. I completed that maneuver node, but... Oh, okay. That'll put me back into an orbit around Keth, or Earth, or Kerbin, whatever it's called. And now I'll just burn retrograde. That's reasonably coaxial with the mass, but I didn't spend a great deal of time lining it up. This grabber, it refused to grab onto the nose. I don't know if I wasn't lining it up properly or whatever, but it seems to insist on having a decent chunk of surface area to grab on, and also a decent amount of velocity to grab on. Like I could perch it on top of that heat shield there, and it wouldn't grab. I needed to fly up and then sort of slam down onto it in order to get the grapple to engage. But eventually I got it. That was not something I'd like to repeat. This isn't a very good rescue mission. If I were to do it again, I would... God, I don't know what I'd do. I'd try probably to put some sort of superstructure or substructure underneath a lander and just land directly on top of it and have the grabber built into the bottom. I could probably do that with this configuration of craft, but I'd have to detach the grapple and attach it to the bottom en route and then land on top of it, which wouldn't be undoable. Okay, I've got a intercept with the planet there. So I should be able to select that, release it, pop over to Bill, Jeb and Bob, and they're now home free. They've got an intercept course and they'll smack down, no worries at all. I will have to go with them for the re-entry to enable their parachute though. I'm going to be re-entering both of these at the same time, it seems. That'll be interesting. Okay. So this might probably be a very good moon lander, given that it was able to pick up another craft and carry it away. But this arrangement was incredibly laborious, and I had thought that I was clever by having 6 points of contact on the ground, the 3 engines and the 3 landing legs, but that's way too much trouble than it's worth. So I'm going to move these engines further up towards the nose, such that these legs are the only things that touch the ground, because that's what undid me on my landing. These have got shock absorption built in, so they could absorb that impact, whereas these couldn't, and so it was just jarring and it couldn't settle onto the incline. The other thing that really screwed me up was that I was trying to land on an incline, which is just a bad idea in general, so I shan't try that again. I might burn a little bit and just change the times at which these two things splash down to give me more time to manage the re-entry. Not that it should be too hard, but I make things harder for myself. Alright. Yeah, I guess I'll just unlock staging with that keybind that I definitely remember and aren't looking up right now on the Kerbal wiki. There we go. Okay, I've enabled staging, and there we go. Oof. For a moment there, I thought I'd forgotten to pack parachutes, but I've got 3 radial parachutes on there. It's all good. Should be able to get a look at the craft we just detached from. If I had any idea what sort of orientation I was in. Whoa! This guy's not got a very interesting view. Oh, there it is. Ah, what a nice silhouette. So there's the moon, and there's our lander, and there's the sun in the background. What a nice shot. Alright, so let's do the time warp again. I'm actually going to make it down first. Maybe? Re-entry. So, at this stage of Kerbal Space Program... Oh, those parachutes are deployed by themselves. Well, that's good. Oh man. I really hope this guy has deployed his parachutes. Cannot switch vessels while in atmosphere. Grand. Well, he's got a fair way to go. He's still at 200,000 meters. He's probably got another minute or so before touchdown. I just hope I can touch this down and then switch back to that guy. And deploy his parachutes. I typically try to deploy the parachutes after the re-entry fire has gone out. Sometimes parachutes tear off if you're going too fast. I'll try to switch again. This is making me nervous. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, they're down. They're still in space. Thank Jeebus. Alright. Light landing, that's okay. Whee! Yeah, the re-entry physics are not modelled terribly robustly. There's some basic aerodynamics. In that it'll try to right itself along not that simple, is it? I was going to say it would try to minimize its cross-sectional area, but it's more complicated than that. No, it uses aerodynamics, let's just say that. Pop that parachute and just hope we are about to hit a mountain or something. Should be okay. Yep, there's Minmus. A small moon that's further out than the moon. Fast forward time a bit. Yeah, we're quite high up. I can just see the ground. Oh no, what was that? My parachute just exploded. Ah, bad. Alright, I'll load. Load a quick load. Ah, it's back here. Dagnabbit. Alright, well you've seen the basics. I'll be back in a bit once we're down on the ground and I'll tally up all the science we received. So, all was a success. I tried again and got the parachuting all set up. And here's the triumphant rescue team. Heroes of the day. I can't tell you their names. Wait. Someone coming, someone coming, someone coming. And their comrades stranded on the moon for several months while they got this mission together. There's Bill, Jebediah, and Bob Kerman, and their science vessel full of science now. So I'm going to reclaim that. I might actually put them on board. Get in there. Bill. Up, 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 up. And last, Jebediah. Now, let's go to the Space Center and reclaim that flight. Should have really taken some more soil samples with the rescue mission while I was there. That would get some more science. So which one's which? I've got curve and science, that'll be it. Recover. Recover this vessel. What do we get? Whoa! 200 science! So I've got 30 from a surface sample, EVA report, nothing. Material study, that was worth a hell of a lot. 100 science, blimey. 45 science from a seismic scan, a temperature scan. Brilliant. Brilliant. Alright, well that should give me enough science to unlock some more cool stuff for the Kethane mining stuff. I'll probably make a video about that once I've worked out, or while I'm working out how to do that. Okay, bye bye.